Hello, today's subject of today's review will be really interesting true wireless in-ear monitors. Company that made them named Dyplay. Index is BQC35, or actually sometimes they are referred as active noise cancelling true wireless in-ear monitors. And yes, you've got it right, it's really less known company that created true wireless earbuds with active noise cancelling, and that's actually what made them interesting. And of course, another interesting feature of this in-ear monitors is the price. So the regular price is $62. Currently on the AliExpress sale they are available for about $45, so their retail price is somewhere at that level, and actually it makes them really interesting for me, so I prepared to make the review. As you can see, box is pretty simple, so it's traditional with simple photos and with features printed on the back side. So I'm not sure why they printed impedance or sensitivity, because it makes no sense for the true wireless model. 10mm dynamic driver, rated power 8 mW, also not really useful. So music time approximately 5 hours and talk time 5 hours. It's with active noise cancelling on, maybe for a bit above 4 hours, 4.5 up to 5 actually. With active noise cancelling off you can get about additional hours. So also, of course, case is charging them and so on, so all traditional features is present here. Here used Bluetooth 5.0 and supported codecs are SBC and AAC. No aptX unfortunately, but let's talk about the sound a bit later. So inside of that outer sleeve there is inner box, and as usual short manual. So left double tap active noise cancelling on and off, right double tap Siri, tap and is to answer call and hang out, long touch reject. So as you can see, the traditional controls, no volume control by taps unfortunately, but anyway, besides that, controls are traditionally good. So short instruction how to make them up and running and connect. So let's move it aside even further. Here is case with earpieces themselves. And as usual you will have charging cable and two additional pair of tips, so it's pretty traditional here. Case itself is pretty unusual, as you can see, some interesting combination of glossy and matte plastic, looks like a bit futuristic, like some alien insect or something like that. Here is USB-C for charging, LED indicators, so not big, not small, pretty light, so it's not some premium materials, but anyway it does its job pretty nicely. You remove earpieces, they boot up and connect, and so it's working this way. Design of earpieces is also pretty minimalistic. You can see just black plastic, no some super fancy materials, a bit unusual shape, so they've tried to use the simplest materials, but at least they made some unusual shape. So hexagon faceplate, here is touch control, LED indicator. Besides that, shape is pretty traditional, it's like a common earpiece, so they fit in pretty nicely. They have a bit bigger angle of spout than it would be ergonomic, but it's not an issue for the wearing. Passive sound isolation is about average, but with active with active noise cancelling it became a bit better. So 4 contacts here, and what else I can say about them? There is there is no lip for holding the tips, but spout itself extends to the end, so it's holding earpieces pretty well. There is a grill to protect the internals. As usual, all traditional features are present here, like use only left earpiece or only right, or use both in stereo mode, and so on and so forth. And they give pretty stable connection up to 10 meters, maybe a bit less, about 8, but still I think pretty viable figure. Connection quality is normal, but when you enter some area with lot of interference around you, they can give you some slight shattering, but not often. Besides that, they are okay. Background noise of earpieces is on the pretty low level. It's some in-ear monitor, some true wireless in-ear monitors have more of that. And actually active noise cancelling, surprisingly it's working. It's not like superb like in AirPods Pro or in Sony true wireless model, but still it's noticeably reduce the outer noise, especially if it's low frequency and it's monotone. It's really good in cutting that, so like not huge decrease, but about 25 decibels you will have, so it allows you to focus more on the music when you in the train, on the plane, or something going around you, like air conditioner hum or vacuum cleaner. So such kind of noise they reduce really good. They are not as good with some random noise, but it's pretty expected for the inexpensive active noise cancelling. So don't expect stellar results, but it's working and pretty normal, and what is more important, it doesn't distort sound. And here is the traditional microphone test. I'm wearing these in-ear monitors and recording this video using their built-in microphone. Of course, this test will be a bit spoiled by YouTube compression algorithm, but I won't apply any equalizer or gain correction or any other correction to this part, so it will give you an idea of how the microphone sounding during the call. And of course about the sound. Dyplay decided to make a safe choice, and they've created in-ear monitors with V-shaped signature, with nicely accented low frequencies and a bit accented treble, but it's important not to make the accent too big, so they remain not sharp and fatiguing, and at the same time mids are recessed and a bit smoothed in order to create the pleasant organic sound signature that vast majority of audience will like. They are definitely not an audiophilic in-ear monitors. If you're looking for maximum resolution, if you're looking for super detalization, so look elsewhere. These in-ear monitors created for the mass market. They are really good with electronic music, with pop music and other related genres, but actually they are surprisingly okay with normal metal, not something really super brutal, but something like Metallica or something like that. They are also pretty good with not super complicated jazz, actually with everything not audiophilic recorded. So here is M11 Pro, I will use it to show the examples, and let's talk about the sound. So bass is accented, main accent is made on the mid bass, depth is normal, but of course don't expect superb depth because Bluetooth codecs cutting the deepest layers of bass. At the same time bass is accented, so it will give you nice impact, nice added weight, nice added body. It's not super resolving, but resolution is normal, so don't expect once again super speed or compared with wired models, but for the wireless, and especially for the wireless models without aptX codec, it's okay. So good texturing, nice resolution, nice level of realism. Of course, audiophilic records with some rich saturated instruments like fortepiano or organ will lack realism, but this is not in-ear monitors created for such genres. And as an example, here is Juno Reactor. invisible, so nice, really good record at low frequencies, going pretty deep and with a lot of alterations in the bassline, and this earpieces play these low frequencies really in a really enjoying way. Tracks with acoustic instruments like Musica Nuda also sounding pretty normal, but of course acoustic double bass, for example, lacking a bit of details, but it's just not what they are created for. Mids are a bit recessed and a bit softened, so they are not focused on the micro contrast, don't expect the superb highest resolution, but still resolution is enough for vast majority of tracks, so it won't be an issue once again if you don't want to listen for some audiophilic material. Emotion representation is good, amount of weight is also good, so instruments will have a good body as well as vocal. And what else I can say about me? They are really forgiving for the quality of records, so they don't highlighting the issues of lossy codecs. They are really good with some streaming services with lossy compression, so it's, you know, once again, it's just in-ear monitors created for the mass market, and they are really good in that. They will give you, you know, excitement, enjoyment, highlighted emotions, and also they are surprisingly good with staging, so they are a bit above average in width and a bit below average in depth, but they are a bit highlighting this three-dimensional positioning, so they will give you nice sense of presence. And as an example, for the mid frequencies, actually speaking about the Metallica, it's For Whom the Bell Tolls. Actually, if I remember right, it's not remastered version, so sounding pretty decent. Guitars have proper amount of aggression, and this bell in the beginning sounding pretty enjoyable, as well as head-filled vocals, they sounding also pretty emotional. So don't expect, you know, the superb resolution for the cymbals, but also pretty enjoyable and balanced. And treble also, you know, it's like normal dynamic driver with a bit of accent. So extension is also about average because of wireless codec. All wireless codecs just cutting the deepest lows and highest treble, so it's the two areas that suffer the most because of compression. At the same time, it has slight accent to balance low frequencies, and this accent do its job, giving a bit of additional clarity and resolution and airiness, but at the same time they're not too sharp or too fatiguing. Of course, attacks and decays are a bit on the slower side, and resolution is also just medium, but it's still pretty acceptable for this price level and for these in-ear monitors. They won't give some rich overtone saturation or other audiophilic mambo jumbo, but they will give you nice percussion, nice cymbals, nice higher notes, so all that stuff that goes to the main tones of the treble. And as an example here, I've got, actually, you know, it's a pretty complicated track that I usually use as a demo for more high-end in-ear monitors. It's Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles from the Love remastered version, and all that violins and other instruments in this track, they recorded pretty nicely and going to the high to the treble domain, and actually these in-ear monitors behave surprisingly normal here. Before listening, to be honest, I expected a bit worse results. Anyway, so to summarize once again about the sound, nice mass market V-shaped tuning with normal resolution, not super but normal, and overall pretty enjoyable, enjoyable the proper word, pretty enjoyable representation, especially for genres like pop music, for electronics with accents there. Speaking about the comparisons, I don't know, they are somewhere at the level of KZ-S1, maybe a bit better in terms of resolution and in terms of control. But of course, KZ-S1 offers a bit more resolving treble because of the balanced armatures. I'm speaking about the hybrid version. But this one is a bit less sharp on the treble and a bit better on the low frequencies, a bit tighter and a bit better balancing the weight. What else models we've got in this price range? So I don't remember. TRN T200 is noticeably more resolving and focused on the micro contrast, but at the same time sharper. And Jade Audio EW1 also has, they have less treble than this model, so this one is a bit more V-shaped, while EW1 is a bit more forward on the mids and with a bit less treble. So of course here you paying a bit extra for this active noise cancelling, and actually in many cases it's a totally worth offer because it's working, not perfect, but for $50 or so it's a really good offer if you need to listen to them in some public transport or some noisy environment. So it was Dyplay active noise cancelling true wireless in-ear monitors. It's pretty interesting model, so don't expect some stellar results, but for this price it's more than a decent offer. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.